Jenny here. This is part 2 of a 3-part video series on how to change your life for the better. Last week we talked about changing your circumstances. If you haven't taken a look at that video yet, hop on over to my Facebook page or my Tumblr page and take a look at that video. And if you have, and you must have loved it because you're here this week, today we're going to talk about changing your attitude. And this is the key to your happiness and the key to your success in all parts of your life. Because I'm a firm believer that a crummy attitude is like a flat tire and you're not going to get anywhere unless you change it. And I deep in my soul believe that, and so that's why I made this video, and I thought that it was key to your success. So changing your attitude, I have 3 tips for how to change your attitude, and I'm going to share those with you today. So the first step is to live in the present moment. The best way to make you feel happier in your life is to stop dwelling in the past and to live in the present. A lot of people who suffer anxiety and depression, it's because they're worried about an event that happened in the past, or they're worried about what can happen in the future, and they forget to live in the present moment. But with that being said, there's some shitty things that have happened to us in the past, and until we get rid of those negative feelings towards that memory, we're probably always going to have them come up for ourselves. And so this is how I kind of deal with traumatic things that happen in my life. If I have a fight with a coworker or my spouse or my best friend, and it's really weighing on my mind and I don't feel like I can resolve that conflict face to face, sometimes if it just makes you want to scream or cry or whatever emotions come up for you, honor that and acknowledge it. Grab a pillow and scream as loud as you can into it. It's amazing how that tiny little pillow can just bring so much, healing to your heart. If it's something that has happened in the past and it just keeps weighing on your mind, consider journaling about it. Take out a notebook and just write down everything that comes up in your heart when you think about it. And you can either just keep a journal for things that come up like this, or consider writing a letter to your past or that past event or whatever. Write a letter, and then kind of as a ritual, tear the heck out of it or burn it, or just accept that it's over. That's a great way to acknowledge a memory and then accept that it's over. I do that so much. I'll write a letter to someone who ticked me off, or sometimes I do it with my husband. Like, I'll write a letter that I never intend for him to see, and I'll burn it, and I'll rip it up and throw it away. Whatever I need to do to get rid of that without making him feel crummy too. Because if we get into this mindset where I feel bad, so I should make them feel bad, then that makes everyone feel bad, and it never turns out good. And we still feel crummy. So what was the point? So. If you have someone to talk to, talk away, let that emotion come up for you, and accept that it happened, and accept that it's over, and just let it go. And kind of remember, everything, it could always have been worse. The next time those thoughts come up in your head, be thankful that it happened, the lessons that you learned from it, and accept that it's over and let it go. So, and while it's impossible to completely forget the past, a lot of us tend to focus on just the negative things that have happened, and or the traumatic events, and we forget about the good that came out of, that maybe you got fired, and we forget that day that you got fired, you realized your dream job was out there waiting for you, or whatever the circumstances. There's always a positive thing that can come out of every situation, and sometimes it's just a lesson that needs to be learned. So, so just always think about the good things that have happened. I like to do this pattern interrupt, and you're going to see it a lot in this video, where whenever I think of a negative emotion or a negative thing about my life, I always stop pattern interrupt and I think of 2 positive things that have either come out of that situation or could possibly come out of the situation. If it's something that in the future that we're thinking about that could possibly happen that's so bad, then I just like, stop, Jenny, right now. Like, what could go right? Like, what happens if this situation turns out good? So always do that stop, pattern, interrupt. And then just see how that kind of turns your life around. Number 2, be positive. And this goes along with changing those negative memories into positive ones. No matter what you have, where you are, who you're with, there's always someone out there who has less than you, less money than you, less friendships than you, less loved ones than you do, and they feel more fulfilled in life than you do. And on the flip side, there's always somebody who has more money than you, a bigger house than you, they're in better shape than you, and they feel less fulfilled than you do. So it's a choice that we make. We can be grateful for all that we have in our lives, or we can always live in that lack mentality. And in order for you to have a positive attitude, you have to be grateful for all that you have, everyone around you, and, just live in gratitude and be positive. Positivity is the key here. So get into the habit of noticing all the positive aspects in whatever situation that you find yourself in. That speeding ticket you got might have stopped you from being in a collision on your way to work, or just think about, find something positive out of it. Or it was just that reminder that, you know what, I need to slow down and enjoy life a little bit more. And trust me, I've had a few speeding tickets in my day. So, and if you find yourself complaining about what's going on, that's when you do that pattern interrupt, like I was talking about in the live in the present moment. And when you find yourself complaining, stop and think of 2 positive things in that present moment. So you got a speeding ticket, you stop and you think, oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you for the reminder for me to slow down in my life. And you know what? I got pulled over and look at this beautiful scenery. I would have never saw this scenery because I was rushing through life and I would have missed it. So there's always something positive that can come out of any situation that we perceive as negative. So always be positive. And number 3, stop criticizing. Stop criticizing yourself and stop criticizing others. Again, everyone has both positive and negative qualities in their life. And it's just a part of humanity. It's just the way that we are. So, stop focusing on the negative qualities in your life and the negative qualities in others, and start thinking about, if you're married or you have a significant other and you're always focusing on the negative things that they're doing or the things that they're not doing, then that's what you're going to notice all the time. So, instead of focusing on your husband who leaves his dirty underwear right next to the hamper, start thinking about, you know what, he did dishes after work the other day, and that was just so nice that I didn't have to do it. And the more you notice the positive things that he or she does for you, the more they're gonna do it, and the more that you're gonna be in gratitude for that. But on the flip side, if you're always focusing on those negative things, then you're always going to be annoyed and angry and just not happy. So always think about, for everyone around you, think about the positive qualities in these people. And don't compare your life with other people's lives, because, like I said earlier, there's always going to be someone who's richer than you, or, skinnier than you are, whatever it is, and they feel less fulfilled than you. So the burdens that you carry are someone else may have, completely opposite. They may be completely fulfilled in their career, but they're missing that love aspect where you have, the love of your life, but you're not in the career that you want. There's always going to be something. And we tend to focus on the lowest parts of our lives are what we compare with other people. So if you're worried about finances, we always look up to those people who have it all going on in their financial life, where, like I just said, they might be lacking in the love department or, you know, friendships. So remember that each and every person has their own struggle and their own burdens and hardships that they're facing. So their insecurities could be a heck of a lot worse than your own about yourself. So anyway, there it is. Those are my 3 steps for having a positive attitude. Live in the present moment, be positive, and stop criticizing, for goodness sakes. If you don't do anything else from this video, stop criticizing. Stop criticizing yourself and stop criticizing others, and go do that pattern interrupt. Every time you feel a negative emotion come on, stop, pattern interrupt, think of 2 positive things that either came out of that situation or could possibly come out of the situation in the future. So there it is. Go have a positive attitude. I am so excited to carry this series on, and leave a comment below on how you notice your life changing once you change that attitude. And I am so excited to hear what's coming for you guys. And stay tuned for part 3, which is changing your looks. All about, you know, the fall is all about change. So here we go. Until next week, keep achieving your best, and I look forward to next week's video.